Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of the Hilltop Sports Report. My name is Jumpin Carlson, your host. We've got a special guest lined up for you in this episode. He's the winningest head coach of all time at Cornell College in any sport. He's a 9-time Conference Coach of the Year and has led the Rams volleyball team to 10 consecutive Midwest Conference championships. Oh, by the way, he's also the Director of Athletics here on the Hilltop. That's right, in episode 9 of the Hilltop Sports Report, we're going to hear from Coach Jeff Meeker. Without further ado, let's hit the music and start the show.
Let's go Rams! Let's go Rams!
And away we go inside Jeff Meeker's office in the Small Athletic and Wellness Center. We're so glad that you've come on to this episode. Coach Meeker, thank you so much. All right, so let's get it started. It's been a busy year on the Hilltop for the Cornell Rams, and Jeff Meeker, head coach of the volleyball team, director of athletics, has been in the center of it all. So, as director of athletics specifically, what is your 10,000-foot view of the 2022-2023 campaign for Cornell College?
Yes, that's a great question. And before I answer, Jack, thank you for doing this podcast. It's been really amazing to hear all the people you've interviewed, and I think the first one might have been with
Grace Marty, Rory Light, and Olivia Richards.
My players, and what a treat it was to listen to that one to kick this off. And thanks for all you've done to help us create this awesome experience that we've had over the past year. So that's certainly a part of the 10,000-foot view, is what cool things students have done, such as yourself, in terms of announcing our games, and even a couple times, I think, doing the PA and the live stream at the same time. So we're really lucky to have you as part of what we're doing here in Cornell Athletics.
I'm so glad that I was given this opportunity as a freshman, and I've really enjoyed just running with it and experiencing all sorts of new things. So thank you so much to you, to Carrie, and to everybody here at the athletics department.
You bet. We can't wait for what the next 3 years will hold and how you'll help us continue to grow. And I think that's an important part of what I've seen over the last however many months. We're talking about 9 or so of that 10,000-foot view that you're talking about. I like to think of growth, progress, and how we're really building towards something super special here at Cornell. And our new building has been an important part of that. The SAW for sure has injected a ton of energy and enthusiasm into not just our teams, but certainly our entire department. I think our coaching staff as well, and also the whole campus. It's just been really a bright spot, I think, in terms of the addition and what it does for our college. So that's been a critical part. And, we're just trying to develop a team down here in terms of all of our programs working together, all of our student athletes working hard to support each other in all they do. We want our student athletes to have amazing 4-year experiences. And winning games is an important part of that. Winning championships is really cool. And I think above that, it's just learning how to be part of a team. And so those are the things that I'm most proud of, is when we see our athletes coming to games to support each other, when we see students like you stepping up and putting all the time and effort into our department, as you do, Jack, and others. Those are the things that I'm most proud of.
That's fantastic. It's been a great year, and we're looking forward, at least speaking for myself, looking forward to seeing what's going to happen these next 3 years. Already, this 1 year in the SAW, so many things have gone in upwards trajectory. Yeah. Can't wait to see what happens in coming years. So now for you, let's go back into a bit of background on you. Coach Meeker graduated from Knox College in 1993, so 30 years ago now.
Holy moly, that's right.
Yeah, and he's been on a climb through athletics ever since. You spent 4 years as head coach at Iowa Wesleyan, then 4 as a men's assistant at volleyball program for St. Ambrose, and then you made the decision to come to Cornell. Yeah. You've been here for 21 years, Coach Meeker. So who were the primary people way back when you first came to Cornell in that decision?
So I was a stay-at-home dad at the time. My wife was doing her medical residency, and Sydney was just born, and I had the best job in the world. I got to stay home with her and then Jackson after that, and watch opening day baseball games when my buddies were at work, and go feed the ducks at the park. But I knew I wanted to get back into coaching. It was where my passions were. And so Ellen Whale, who was the athletic director at the time and former volleyball coach at Cornell, really the one responsible for building the volleyball program, called me and said, "Hey, we're going to be looking for a head coach here." And Mount Vernon is my hometown. we had 2 young kids. We thought, what couldn't be a better place for us to go to have support from our families, and the clinic here in town at the same time had been recruiting Monica. So Ellen was a really important part of that, and then the ability to come home and raise our kids here in Mount Vernon was important.
Yeah, and look where it's taken you now.
Right.
You're in 2023, you've been here 21 years. So on that same line, my follow-up question is, what impacted head coach Ellen Whale? She ended up becoming the athletics director, spent some time in the kinesiology department. You did as well early on in your tenure. So what impacts did she have personally on you throughout your journey?
Yeah, I mean, certainly Ellen is someone I look up to. And I remember as a kid, I got to come over to the gym and watch some of her teams play. Kind of before I knew I was a volleyball person or a volleyball coach. But so I think in some ways, just the volleyball community here at Cornell, Mount Vernon High School had a great volleyball tradition. Those were the beginnings of my interest in the sport. And then at Knox, I started my own men's team, and so kind of built a program there from the ground up. Yeah, one thing led to another, and had this opportunity here. But Ellen was certainly involved, came to practices and would come talk after games, and on the hard days helped me put things in perspective, and then certainly be here to celebrate the good things that we were doing. And then Ellen's also been really important to just connect our team with the history of Cornell volleyball and help me get to know some of our past alumni. And so it's been a really special relationship there with Ellen.
It's great to have those connections to the past, and then also with an eye towards the future of what the program could become. Already so many heights you've reached, but there's still more that Cornell volleyball can achieve in the future, and we're excited for that. So during your time here, you've been head coach, a kinesiology instructor, and now director of athletics along with head coach. So what has kept you on the Hilltop throughout the years?
I was also the intramural director at one point. Yeah, I've taught 7 different courses.
7 courses, wow.
What has kept me on the Hilltop? It's just been the perfect place for me to build a volleyball program at a place that I really believe in. Mount Vernon's been a wonderful place for us to raise a family. Yeah, I just think, I'm proud of what we've been able to do and how hard we worked at it, and just the ability to coach at a place where our student athletes can balance excellence in the classroom, strive for excellence on the court. And then what I love most about Cornell specifically is our students' ability to do whatever else they want to do because of one course at a time, the way that leverages flexibility, the ability to put these different things together in a really meaningful way. That's what I love most about Cornell.
As a first year here, I've loved it here, and I'm so glad that, as I said earlier on in the episode, that I've been able to do this as a freshman, and I want to thank you so much for believing in me and also just supporting me along the way too. So I appreciate that.
Pleasure's ours, Jack.
So your family has significant ties to the Hilltop. You mentioned Sydney and Jackson. So 3 of your children have attended Cornell College, and your daughter Sydney is now an assistant coach for the volleyball team after a fabulous career. So what has this experience been like for you, serving as coach and an administrator, along with being a father?
Amazing. Yeah, I think oftentimes when I tell people that Sydney played for me, their first reaction is that couldn't have worked very well, or that had to be really hard. And in fact, it's quite the opposite. I coached her growing up, and I don't think easy's the right word, but the one thing about coaching Sydney is there was never a question of, and it's something that I try to let all of my players know, there's never a question of whether or not I care about them as people. And so Sydney always knew that I loved her, even if I got mad at her if she wasn't putting forth the effort she needed or doing the right things, which wasn't often. And yeah, my team trusted me to make those right decisions. So it was never your daughter's playing because she's your daughter. It was your daughter's playing because she's doing the right things to make our team better. So felt really blessed to be able to coach Sydney, and then I couldn't be doing what I'm doing today with being the athletic director, trying to continue to build this volleyball program without her. She compliments me really well. She's super organized, same types of things. If she needs something from me, she can tell me, and vice versa. So I've been really lucky with that. And then with Jackson and Jaden, I think it's been a blessing as well. Yeah, and there's been very few days where I think there have been challenges, far more where it's just, in fact, on my way down the hill to get here to this podcast, past Jaden and got to say hi. and that was it. So all good things.
That's fantastic. And so now diving into your colleagues in the athletics department, you've been here along with Carrie Call, Brent Brazzi, and Lauren Neidegger for a long time.
Sure.
And then there have been others that have stopped by along the way to fill out the entire coaching staff. So what have your relationships been with the people otherwise in the athletics department with you?
Yeah, really good. I hope they would say the same thing. Yeah, I've always felt like we've had a great group of coaches here and staff members. Coach Brazzi has been a key part of that for a long time. He's someone who gives a lot to this department in terms of his work ethic and what he's done with the women's basketball program. And yeah, I don't know if there's a better head athletic trainer around. Lauren does the same thing for our student athletes. And I've always felt strongly that Carrie Call is the best sports information director, now director of athletics communications anywhere. The time and effort and level of professionalism that Carrie puts into his job is really special. The other thing I did want to mention is what one of the things the SAW has done for us as a staff has given us more opportunities to support each other, to have informal conversations, to have mentoring opportunities with older and younger coaches. And so having all of our coaches in the same office suite, and this is the first time ever that we've been able to do that, has been a really, really good thing for our department.
Yeah, it's great to just walk down the hall and say, all these coaches are right here. If you need something, they're right here. And that's amazing. Just a few steps away from your office. So 10 consecutive volleyball championships, Coach Meeker. What has led to this unprecedented run of success for the program?
Great players, a little bit of luck, a lot of hard work. Yeah, I mean, we always want to point to the secret ingredient. And if you've ever watched Kung Fu Panda, there is no secret ingredient. To believe that's something special, that's what you have to do. Or for something to be special, you just have to believe it's special. So I think we believe our program is special in that way. And, in terms of consecutive championships, we don't ever view it that way. We're not trying to win our 10th straight championship. We're trying to win the championship this year. And so that, I think, has been an approach that has helped us. We've needed help with that a couple times, or needed the right other team to beat someone to win it. But yeah, we just have great kids. Like they're here for the right reasons. They work really hard in the classroom. They're great teammates, first and foremost. And I would attribute a lot of our success to that. And they work hard, and they're pretty good at volleyball too.
Yeah, it always helps to have a little bit of skill too. And yeah, when you have statistical leaders in blocks per set, 2022, 2023, as you did last year,
right,
it always helps. Yeah. So now going to your athletics director cap, put that back on for a little bit. The entire 2022-2023 campaign. Let's start in the fall.
Sure.
Volleyball won the championship in the Midwest Conference, entered the D3 tournament before falling to Whitewater.
Correct.
And so men's cross country won the conference championship. The women's soccer team qualified for the Midwest Conference. So what would you say is your assessment of 2022 in the fall athletics at Cornell?
Pretty good. It's easy to kind of think about success and measure it in terms of championships and wins and losses and those things. And where I really think we are as a department right now is we're building momentum. And even the teams maybe that didn't have quite as much success as they wanted, you could just feel it in this building right now. This is something that head cross-country coach Jerry Frawley has talked about a few times, that you can just kind of feel and see this energy building within our department, where teams are having more success or really setting themselves up to take that next level. So I thought the fall overall was great, and that really has carried out throughout the rest of the year.
How about for the winter sports? Men's and women's basketball made the conference tournaments. Jerry Monner oversaw his first season at track and field.
Yeah.
All sorts of interesting things that happened with track and field this year.
Sure.
Hosted a couple of meets, and that was an amazing experience to help out with as well. So what would you say is your assessment of the winter sports this year?
Great progress as well. It was fun to watch our men's basketball team, and I love being able to watch them and then get to watch my son Jaden play at the same time, and that team had a great year. We're really lucky to have Coach Monner here at Cornell. He was at Grandview for 18 years. I believe he's a 34-time conference coach of the year.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I would say that's someone you want to have on your side. Yeah,
and he's done great things with our men's and women's teams already. The women finished third in the indoor meet. Had a couple national qualifiers, won All-American. Men's team outdoors just a couple of weeks ago won the small college division at the Drake Relays. And fun fact, Coach Monner was an advisee of mine.
I heard about that.
When I was at Iowa Wesleyan.
That's pretty cool.
So I was a young coach and teacher there, and Jerry was a cross-country runner and track athlete. So when I called him up to ask him to come to campus for an interview, he said, "Jeff, do you remember who I am?" Paused for a minute, and it took me a second, but then, of course, I remembered having him as a student back in the day.
That's really cool. You've been all around you, and you know pretty much everybody around here, so that's really cool. So
Jaden used to tell me when he was younger, he said, "Dad, you're famous in Mount Vernon."
You are very famous. Yes, you've done a great job with your career, and we can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Right. So, finally, wrapping it all up with the spring sports, men's and women's lacrosse. Their programs made their respective conference tournaments. Women's lacrosse set a program record for wins this year. And men's tennis appeared in the postseason, won the doubles championship as well, individually. So what would you say would be your assessment of the spring 2023?
Well, you just nailed most of it right there. Some of the highlights. Yeah, the men's #1 doubles team were conference champions. That was a really key moment for our tennis program and department. Baseball and softball, of course, are battling this weekend coming up here for postseason berths. So we're cheering for them. And then track has a couple more weekends left. They run at Monmouth this weekend, and then their championships will be the following weekend over at Cornell. Hopefully we can see a few more national qualifiers. But again, I think growth and progress, and it's really what we're striving to do here is layer progress. And when you think of it that way, every little thing we can do to improve or enhance the student-athlete experience, all those things are important. And in fact, we have a ping pong table that's coming that we're going to get set up here just to make this place even more fun, to be able to set up and have some stress relief opportunities. So it's all about that. For us, I think, is how else can we serve our student-athletes? How can we make the experience better? Of course, how can we help them learn to be resilient, to learn that they're capable of more than they think? Really that elusive self-confidence that is key to success, and we really define that as confidence is simply believing in your skills, and it's earned through hard work and practice and all of that. So we think what we're doing here is pretty important and a really important part of the overall educational piece at Cornell.
That sounds fantastic. So, is there anything else that you'd like to get to on this episode of the Hilltop Sports Report, or have we pretty much covered it all?
I think mostly just really reiterating that we're excited about moving forward, focused on wrapping up this year. We're really looking forward to the Rammy Awards on Monday night and highlighting our season award winners. We've got a really cool keynote address coming in to talk a little bit about that resilience that we mentioned. So that'll be a highlight for sure. And then, of course, graduation for our seniors who will be wrapping up their careers here at Cornell's coming up in just a little over a week.
Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on this episode of the Hilltop Sports Report. And I figured it was appropriate to end with volleyball after beginning the season with volleyball. We had Grace Smarty, Rory Light, and Olivia Richards on episode 1, and they were great. I wanted to thank everybody that's come on to the Hilltop Sports Report, everybody that's listened. And if you have any feedback, email us at hilltopsportsreport@cornellcollege.edu with your thoughts, questions, or comments about Cornell Rams athletics. But that's a wrap for the Hilltop Sports Report in 2022-2023. We'll be back, don't worry about it, next year, 2023-2024, for more episodes, beginning with episode 10. So thank you so much, Coach Meeker, for stopping by. My name is Jumpin Jack Carlson, speaking on behalf of the Cornell College Rams, saying, I'll see you next year.